All right, hey, good morning, everybody. It is a Thursday, July 19th, 2018, daily Forex trading strategy session. Let me remind you that trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results, but please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, and never risk money you cannot afford to lose. My name is Wayne McDonell. I am the Chief FX Market Strategist for TradersWay.com. Thank you very much for being a client. We appreciate you. We work hard for you, and we want you to succeed because it is a symbiotic relationship. I am here to teach you technical and fundamental analysis, but more importantly, how to become a successful and independent trader that can trade conservatively and consistently and profitably for many, many, many years to come. Gino, no, but that would be for him to say, not me. Do these sessions typically 7:30 in the morning, Monday through Friday. Today is 9 a.m. I had a thing, so I appreciate you, or I appreciate the patience you showed with me today. So without further ado, the stock market's going to open in the United States of America in about, 10, 15, 20 minutes? Yeah, 22 minutes, yeah. Yeah, true, Gino. Absolutely true. All right, let me get my mouse. Let me get kind of set up here. Okay. No, grayest. We'll say grayest. Big Harry. But, hey, Big Harry, keep it professional, all right, buddy? Okay. Okay, let's start with here. This is yesterday's scalp. We were talking about how you can scalp. It's like picking up pennies in front of a steam train or something. It's all about the income. It's all about the pips, making money. But it's hard work because it's very short term. It's more about income than it is wealth. And so we had news come out yesterday. Let me drop into a smaller time frame. Is that it? Yeah. All right. So on the smaller time frame, it came up, it came down about 50% on the 1 minute. And it went up for several hours. Cool. Great. Awesome. But in the summer in particular, we're looking at this as short-term games, so to speak. Yeah, Gino, no, I don't know. He had a family thing, and that was that. So I haven't talked to him since, but I've been busy as well. So anyways, up, down, up, 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 up. And then when summer comes along, you shouldn't expect these things really to continue unless you get a hardcore reversal. In this case, the news came out, it spiked up, some money could be made, reasonable money, right? And then gone. So this worked out really on the 1 minute chart is how I set that up. I don't know if I can go back. Well, let's try going back. This is the standard scalping technique I've taught for 15 years or 12 years, 10 years, 12, well, more than 10, more than 12. 14 years? Am I going to be able to find this or not? La, 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 la. I must have missed it. It's a lot of minutes, huh? Time goes by so slowly. Really? And no wonder. There it is. So this is how I marked it up for you guys yesterday. One more click. The news came out, up, up, up for 3 or 4 minutes. Then down 50%, and then up. Now the interesting thing is on this 1 minute scalp, this is sort of the basic area to consider getting out. You might also look at daily pivots. You might also look at weekly pivots. You might also look at monthly pivots. You might also look at psychological levels. Okay. But typically a 382 gets you to this 1618. A 50% gets you in the middle. So really, it's about here is the typical scalp, right? Now it went up further, but that's probably a second move, right? So now you could drop into more of a 5 minute chart. Ooh. Is that going to work? 5 minute chart and do the same type of thing. Where'd that go? It's way over here. There it is. It's the same thing, but instead of using a 1 minute chart, you use a 5 minute chart. So I'm trying to get in there on the 5 minute chart. It keeps moving away on me. Okay, so the first one is a 1 minute scalp. The next one's more of a 5 minute spot. Okay, so from the news release, which was here, to the high to the retracement, now you have this 382, right? And what does that predict? Well, it's the same kind of move. Okay, so you got this. This is where the news came out. That's the high of the news. This is the retracement. Yeah. Okay. Actually, that's not it. Sorry. Up, down. That's it. Okay. Then what? Do it again. Oops. Clear off. Okay. Do it again. Now you can do it this way. You can measure it that way, which you would get on a 15-minute chart. I don't want to click it, but you would measure this. Okay. 50% predicts the middle one. Okay. That's sort of the follow-on methodology to scalping. And then we kind of just run out of time, right? That's the day. Does it go up one more time? No, that's basically it. Cool. Time goes by. Okay. And that'd be that. Anything else going on here? This is the scalp. What's the overriding direction? What's the predominant theme here? It's not even down. Let's be more specific. Because down sounds like you're guessing. Well, on this time frame, John, you can't say sideways. What's the predominant theme that you see here? This euro dollar 15-minute chart. What do you see? Analyze this. There's more to it than bearish, though, guys. There's way more information than bearish. 2155, not really what I'm looking for. No, 1, 2, 3, sort of. How about this? What is the top of the market for this week? Yeah, that's the predominant theme. That's everything. Everything else is secondary. Oh, the moving averages. Well, that's just timing your trades. That isn't your actual trade. That's just timing, getting in and getting out and moving stops. But that's all secondary, right? They're like training wheels. The most important thing here is that WM3. So predict the future. Don't tell me bearish, right? Yeah, we're heading down to M1. We're on our way. Is that 115? I can't say that. 115.50, right? But you knew that you knew that 150 pips ago. That's specific, right? It's not that we're bearish. That's the theme for the whole week. And all your other trades are based on that one thing. So yesterday, when we're looking at the scalp, I'm like, yeah, it's a scalp. It's some, housing data. I think it was, who was it, John? Right? John's like, yeah, it's housing data. I'm like, yeah, it's just a scalp. And he's like, yeah, but you can do well scalping. I'm like, yeah, you're right. You can do well scalping. And it is income. Okay, great. So we got that. Okay. And that's what happened. Okay. The most important thing here, superseding that, which lasted a couple of hours, this is what's happening for the entire week. Pradeep, that's a pivot point. Hassan, soon I have to. First of all, I have to get my mind back. Oh, okay. Hang on. In regards to the day trading workshop, I got to get my head screwed on straight first. I just got back from school. You're okay. I have 2 papers to write. I'm writing a business plan for a startup, and then I'm writing an article on sukuk, which are what they call Islamic bonds, but they're not Islamic bonds, but they're sukuk. So I have to write a research paper on that industry. And then meanwhile, I'm getting back into civilian life. Okay. So coming up soon. Okay. Soon, like in the next few weeks, maybe like the week after non-farm payrolls. Okay. What kind of startup company? It's an airline. And I guess I can't really say more than that. It's an airline. Okay. All right. Now the next question. I think it was. So John's like, so is that not bearish? Yes, it is bearish. But bearish doesn't tell me anything except, you want to sell. It doesn't tell me what price you want to sell. It doesn't tell me where we're going, where to stop selling. Okay? You understand? So like bearish is the right answer, but it still doesn't tell me anything. So to take all of that, right? The predominant theme for this week and everything else that your euro dollar should be focused on is this move. Now you have a roadmap. Oh, thank you, Gino. Okay. Actually, Gino, no. But anyways, you got that, John? So it's more than a direction. It's a roadmap, and it's specific, right? because any plan has to be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. This is the roadmap for this week. We didn't quite know that on Monday or Tuesday morning. This is probably Tuesday in London, but it revealed itself. We have to, adopt this. Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate it. Yeah. And by the way, Gino, the airline doesn't have any cuts. All right. All right. So yeah, the lost part. Maybe I should just keep going, and we can work on it over time. Okay. It's just simply. Well, how about? Let me ask you, John. Have you done the swing trading course? It's not even drawn. Oh, well, Johnny, there you go. All right, sorry. My assumption is you know how to use pivot points. So, okay, there you go. We just uncovered something amazing, John. And to anyone else that has done it, this tells me everything. This little squiggly to do, set up every single trade I would do for the rest of the week. That little squiggly scoobly tells me we're heading down to this green zone. I now know what's going to happen the rest of the entire week. Okay? Yeah. So now I can walk around all confident. I'm like, I know where this is going. And remember, it's not me. It's like I know what every other professional trader knows. I know what every algorithm has been programmed to do. Okay? Based on this information, we are heading down to the green zone. By the way, that's why I have a green zone down there. And in your culture, does green mean up or does green down? Well, okay, but if you had to choose up or down. Yeah, so here's the interesting thing. So in Asia, and I remember in particular in Japan when I spoke to a trading group there, back when I had 2 employees in Japan, I met with a group there, and I'm like, so does green mean up or green means down? And they're like, down. I'm like, really? They're like, yeah, in Asia, everybody knows green means down. I'm like, oh, yeah, because in the Western world, green means up. Red would mean down. I don't know where this comes from, of course. There's no law of the universe. Right? Yes, Gino, over all of that. Okay. So anyways, my block, in my neighborhood, green means up, and that's why it's down here, because it means 2 things. In most situations, top of this, in all situations, it means stop selling, because the market's going to want to turn up. And the second thing it means, in certain circumstances, it will entice market participants to want to buy. At the very minimum, it means market participants are going to want to sell. Either way, it's support. Okay? Yeah, well, but so what I'm saying, pulling my legs, that's fine. But in some cultures, green, it had the opposite effect. Okay, so anyways, in this case, this tells me everything. This tells me the market is bearish, and therefore I know we're dropping down here. Now, I might be wrong, but that's the plan, right? That's the assumption. Okay. So like the week before, didn't work out as well. This is the area. It's not perfect. It was perfect here. Okay. And the target would have been down here. So that didn't work out as well. Boo-hoo. Okay? Now, to really take it one step further, guys, this time goes by so slowly. Man, I can't even click back. Well, I have to go to an hourly chart then. Yes. Time goes by. There we go. This is telling me that we're heading on here. But I knew that 2 weeks ago. Okay? So if that was your assumption 2 weeks ago, and then we rallied up and on Tuesday hit the M3, weekly M3, would it influence your trading if you felt like we were going here for sure? Okay. Gino, the short answer, Gino says, well, how do you know if on Monday the talking heads don't flip anything? Generally, that just doesn't happen. We're talking about the global market. It's too big and too mature. Macroeconomics are significantly more important than a talking head on CNBC. However, if you're on the very short-term charts only, 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, that's the stuff that will make you unlucky. And you could be in a half decent trade, the market pops, moves 30 pips, knock you out for a loss, and then we move on. But then you're incorporating luck, good and bad luck, into a lot of your trades. And on the long run, you want to remove luck. Okay? But anyways, so this is the target. Now check this out. Here's where the concern comes in. Okay? This red line seems to be support. Okay? So on the shorter term, I have no problem trading it down into here. It's the weekly target, but it's also a monthly pivot. And that might be it. That's hardcore support. Okay? If we're down here, that's the monthly support pivot. And under those circumstances, and because it's summer, I'm not entirely convinced we can get down here, but that is the general, the standard operating procedure when you see this. But, we'll talk about that tomorrow or Monday if we make it down there, right? All right, so that's a lot to digest. So, John, if you're going to join the swing trading group in mid-August, you need to complete the swing trading course to get into the group. You can't just buy it and then expect me to teach you in front of a group of 30 other people that already know it. So in the swing trading group, we're just hunting for trades. So make sure you get that done. Yeah. Man, I need more coffee. So anyways, yeah. Glad we talked about that. All right. Cool. That's the predicted top for the week. And it's also a sell zone for bears. Neat, right? Now, is this predictable to be the top? It's a monthly pivot. It's a weekly M4. Okay. So it's definitely resistance on two time frames, on a monthly time frame, on a weekly time frame. Okay, cool. Why was this predictable as resistance then? I mean, just because it's a number, just because it's, I mean, is there anything else? What's the theme for the week here? I think we talked about this on Tuesday, actually. I think we set this up. Yeah, we'll get over there, Johnny boy. What's the predominant theme here? Yeah. Okay. This little thing predicts we're going to go here. Okay. Doesn't predict here. It doesn't predict here. Doesn't predict here. Doesn't predict here. Doesn't predict way up here. It predicts right there. 132.64. Okay. 132.64 is something we talked about on Tuesday and probably again on Wednesday. 132.64, which is specific. The top of this candle, how do we get to this? 132.66. So I went 2 pips further. So I'm sorry. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, like, got to tighten that up, right? It's true. Oh, Frank, did I miss your question? Frank. Oh, hey, Wayne, I finished swing trading for market. Oh, so you were not in the previous group? Well, the next one will start in August, mid-August. Okay. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to move over like the 10 hours of work that the other group and I did, so it'll be part of the swing trading course. I was concerned though, like if it's going to force you to go through a whole now like 25 hours of swing trading, that'd be a little much. But anyways, you know, we'll talk about it more then. Okay. So anyways, the point here, guys, is it's doing what it should be doing. Okay, it's doing what it should be doing. It's kind of making its way up. My concern is on a monthly basis, there isn't a great bottom. Okay, but we have this sort of price action now where, you know, maybe this is a higher high, maybe this is a higher low, maybe this is a higher high, higher low, higher. We're just kind of working our way around. The problem is I'm skeptical because of my experience in summer, where there was a time in my life where I'd really start to buy into this move. But the fact that we're just kind of hanging out here and not really hitting on monthly pivots bothers me. And then I see this one, we are hitting a monthly pivot, right? So that's kind of in the back of my mind, but I don't believe that either because it's really late in the month for that to happen. Like if that's what we wanted to do, why not have done it earlier? So if anything, if anything, maybe what ends up happening is we kind of do this, okay? And we kind of move in there. So you have to make a choice. If you did buy earlier, if you bought here, or if you bought here, okay, both of those are pretty obvious buys. You can try to hold it up into here, and if it was August, I would do it for sure. Because it's July, I'm not that confident in that. So my spidey senses are tingling, and I'm like, this is hardcore resistance. It really is. The monthly guys should get out of the long trade. The weekly guys should get out of the long trade. If it was August, I wouldn't get out. I'd just move my stop. But it ain't August, it's July. So I'm not expecting follow through. We have the roll reversal. We have the monthly pivot. We have the weekly pivot. What more could I possibly expect? So you have to make a decision. Do you hold or do you fold? And then even if it did go further, let's say this area, I'd be left with the same decision. So let me try to mark this up so this makes sense. Let's say next week is like this. Okay, I still would be doubtful of breaking stop. Okay. Okay. Either way, you see how my expectations are important, right? That's what moving averages tell me very often. Do I expect a higher high or do I expect a double top? Do I expect a lower low or do I expect a double bottom? All these things are important. I'm folding in seasonality here where I'm like, yeah, I don't expect much. I don't expect a higher high here. We could get it, of course, because what you don't know is maybe this is the macro move that we'll be trading like crazy between now and the end of the year. Could be. So you have to make the decision. Are you a bull or a bear? Okay. Now, I prefer US dollar weakness. Frank, that's in a private area of the website for that group. Yeah. It's somewhere between 10 and 20 hours of videos. So anyways. So what's going to happen then? We should look at gold and oil. So will the USD CAD double top or will the USD CAD drop? Well, USD CAD should drop if we get a rally in oil. Okay. So what do you think's going on here? Is that going to act as support? Yeah, Ted, that seems, you know what, that's probably the best way of doing it, just leaving it there. Yeah, I mean, so we don't know. There's two things that are likely to happen here. Okay, it heads up. But if it headed further down, where would it fall? If you were a bear here, you can't sell. That would be the dumbest place on the planet to sell. You'd have to be a buffoon to sell that there. Where's the best place to sell? Okay. I would say near 73. Okay. Okay. So it's going to be kind of like that if you're a bear. If you're a bull, this is a buy zone. Okay, the resistance is here. That sets you up for a head and shoulders pattern. So 72.70, 72.50, 73, it's all the same. Okay. This is the resistance. The funny thing is I drew that back in May. I know, right? You can still see the thing there. It's still there. Does anyone remember, like, back in, like, a year ago, we talked about 72? Does anyone remember that? Like, it wasn't 73, it wasn't 74, it wasn't 75 or 76 or 77 or 71 or 70. It was 72. And we talked about it in August, September, right? And October and November and December. Here's the January sell-off, which was also predictable, right? February, March, April, May, and then we hit there about June. What happens in June 1st? I'll give you a hint. I did 50 years of research. Peak oil. Peak oil inventories specifically. Peak oil means something different, right? Yeah. Kind of neat that it went all the way up and then June 1st, I guess June's, well, anyways. It's all kind of there, right? It's kind of neat, right? And then for some reason we stop. I mean, this arrow here has been there like a year and a half. Crazy, huh? I know, right? So it comes down to, if you're a short-term bull, you buy here. If you're a long-term bull, you buy here. And this would just be a flat-out dumb place to sell. Okay. So now you have to decide: are you going to tiptoe into these waters or not? There's fib retracements. There's roll reversals. That kind of stuff. Taking a look at gold. Okay. This is the one I was talking about. I think it was Tuesday. Just didn't like the way it's set up. You would really want this to go up in a scenario like this, and it didn't. There isn't any real decent pivots going on. It never really hit a proper sell zone. It didn't hit a weekly sell zone. It didn't hit a monthly sell zone. It's just kind of farting around doing its own thing. Okay. Okay. If you were selling, you should stop selling. Okay. That's support. So you got this to drop to 1200. If you were prudent, you would stop selling. You'd be done for the month of July. Aussie yen, sure. So I discussed this one on Monday. I have it trapped in a range. Then I drew up here. The high end of the range is up in here. So we plugged in sort of a smaller time frame number of 84. It went to 83.95. So I'm sorry, it didn't go to 84. It went to 83.95. My bad. That just happens to be the weekly R. That weekly R predicts a bottom for this week, S. That gets us down to basically 82.5. Right, so it could have shorted up around 84, target 82.5. Yeah, John. The only thing the chart tells me is that you should stop selling at 1200. Doesn't mean it can't fall further, because we don't know where it's going to fall. You only know what you're supposed to do. Right? Cats can live with dogs. Doesn't, I don't know. Whatever. You're only supposed to do what you're supposed to do, and everything else is bad. So, you know, one way to do that, John, is to pick one very difficult thing besides trading, something that you would just don't want to do, but you know you should do it anyways. Like, and a great example is wake up very, very early and exercise, something like that. And you're like, yeah, I know it's good for me and stuff, and this is something I could do because I don't do this. But anyways, you could say, you know, maybe let's say your daily routine is to wake up at 6. Okay, waking up at 5:30 is not that big of a deal. Waking up at 5 that's a whole hour, but that's not good enough. I would, if I wanted to build discipline in my trading, I would build it in another part of my life as well. I'd wake up at 4:30 because that's ridiculous. If you don't need to wake up till 6, waking up at 4:30 is ridiculous. But I don't mean like most of the time. I mean all of the time. For the next year. And you're like, what? But it takes, right? It takes, was it 22 days in a row to create a new habit? I'd say another 22 days after that to solidify it. But getting up at 4:30 in the morning only to build discipline, and maybe if you do something with that time, you can get healthy. But you know, maybe with that time, you print out your charts or something and you go through those, some sort of routine. But that's how you do it. The way you become disciplined is to become disciplined, right? Because you're either disciplined or you're not. You're either pregnant or you're not. You can't be half pregnant, or most of the time you're pregnant, but sometimes, I'm not pregnant when I drink and smoke. I mean, whoa, no, you're pregnant, right? Yeah, I'm sure you are, John. But that's the same, like you said, you wanted to work on discipline in your trading. Yeah, well, that's the way to do it. Work on discipline, any kind of discipline. Yeah. All right. You know what? I think we're done. All right, guys. Let's meet up tomorrow morning, regular time. Thinking maybe we'll do the YouTube thing, but I might forget. Who knows? So yeah. Oh, thank you. Woo! I'm still tired from school. Yep. Cool. So thank you for being a client. If you haven't joined our family yet, please visit TradersWay.com. At least open a demo. Allow us the opportunity and the honor, really, to earn your respect. See you tomorrow. Peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May our profits be above average. Cheers.